Arya Samaj, they will not worship as a deity, they will worship as a sun. But Gayatri Mantra is also known Maha Mantra. Gayatri Mantra को वेद माता बोला जाता है, विश्व माता and देव माता. Why is it वेद माता? उसे वेद माता क्यों बोला जाता है? उसके जो 24 अक्षर है. And by the way, Om Bhurbhuva Swaha not part of Gayatri Mantra. They are the Vyam. From Tat Savitur Varenyam, the mantra starts. And it says each one of them has an akshara, so there are 24 aksharas within Gayatri Mantra from Sanskrit grammar point of view. And each one of them. So गायत्री के हर जो अक्षर है संस्कृत के अंदर उसका हर एक का बीज मंत्र भी है. There is a yantra for each one of them also, right? So it can be used both from spiritual, or आध्यात्मिक प्रयोग के लिए और तांत्रिक प्रयोग के लिए भी गायत्री is also used. And even when we have heard and we read about Agnayastra and Brahmastra and all, that are also different variants of Gayatri Mantra. There is an ashram in Ahmedabad, right, where they have mastered Gayatri Mantra for Bala Ati Bala, which was the Vidya that was given to Ram and Lakshman by Vishwamitra. Right? So, and then there are multiple ways, right? And then people can also add beach mantras within there also. What we do in Gayatri Mantra, we use very simple form of Gayatri Mantra. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Some places you go, there are 3 Oms which are added, right? Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Om Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. And the reason it was meant to be very simple version here is because it was done for global benefit. It was not done for a very specific individualistic use. And that's why it's the simplest form. And our Gurudev put a lot of his Tap Shakti behind it, right? So that everybody gets benefited. And he takes away any negative energy that is generated. He said that I will absorb that with my Tap Shakti. And I will explain who he also. So what is Yagya now? Yagya is symbolism of selfless service, selfless sacrifice. When you become happy by making somebody else happy, that is what Yagya is. All these rituals are the symbolic, right? They just inspire us to become better. So we'll start the puja with Pavitrikaran. So take water in your left hand, cover with your right hand. Cover with your right hand and then sprinkle over it. Om Pavitra Pavitro Va Sarvavastanga Viva Yatsparet Pundarikaksham Savaya Vyantara Suchi Om Punadu Pundarikaksha Punadu Achamanam. We take seat 3 times. The first one was purification of the mind. I'll do both rituals, then I will explain what. So second, this is for purification of body, mind, and our emotions, faith, our Karan Shakti. So take water in your right hand and then I say Swaha. That's why you take the seat. That is for the पहली जो बार हम स्वाहा करेंगे वो शरीर की शुद्धि के लिए, दूसरी बार स्वाहा करेंगे मन की शुद्धि के लिए, तीसरी बार जो स्वाहा करेंगे वो अंतःकरण की शुद्धि. ओम अमृतोपस्तरणमसि स्वाहा. Now second time. Om Amrita Pidanamasi Swaha. Now third time. Om Satyam Yashah Shrir Mahi Shri Shrayantam Swaha. Now take water in your left hand, cover it with your right hand. पानी लेफ्ट हैंड में लेके दाहिने हाथ की उंगलियों को डुबो के यहाँ शिखा के स्थान पर put it on your Shikha. And imagine that we are establishing the connection with the divine. ये देवी का आह्वान है, and we are saying कि दिव्य तेजस समन्वित देवी please or the divine mother please establish your energy here. ओम चिद्रूपिणी महामाये दिव्य तेजः समन्विते तिष्ठ देवी शिखामध्ये तेजो वृत्तिं कुरुष्व मे तेजो वृत्तिं कुरुष्व मे. So what we did in first three rituals, very first one was pavitrika, purification of self. खुद को पवित्र करने की भावना के साथ हमने पहली ही रिचुअल की. Why do we have to do purification of self when we sit in the puja? Because none of us are pure. None of us will ever be 100%, right? But we can always become better than who we are. So sitting in the puja and with a pledge or a sankalpa that I will learn something from the puja and I will make full effort to put it in my life. And that is why we start with pavitrika, right? Our human tendency or our ego comes in the way accepting that, you know, I have weakness and I need to change. We spend all our energy trying to change it. हम जो पवित्रीकरण किया वो इसीलिए किया हमने कि हम के अंदर हम जो भी है हम अपने आप से अपने आप को बेहतर बना सकते हैं. तो पवित्रीकरण का मतलब यही है कि हम एक संकल्प लेते हैं कि हम आज अच्छा बनने का प्रयत्न करें. Second one we did is purification of body, mind and antakaran. Why do we have to purify our body? So it's a reminder by our rishis that, you know, what we eat, when we eat, how we eat, do we exercise regularly or not, right? Are we taking care of our body or not? Body can be considered as a temple of God. जो हमारा शरीर जो है उसको हम भगवान का मंदिर के रूप में भी एस्टैब्लिश कर सकते हैं क्योंकि उससे हम बहुत सारी अच्छी चीजें समाज के लिए कर सकते हैं. We can do many great things using this body. And also we, you know, if you are healthy, we don't become burden on somebody else, right? So taking care of ourselves. And what we have forgotten now, right, is how to take care of the body. Now, my life becomes so artificial, stressful, foods, right, become so contaminated, our eating schedules, what we eat also, right? Anytime nowadays you look into something, it has some chemicals added to it or, you know, some kind of, and then frozen foods and, you know. So all those things become our responsibility, right? That what we eat, when we eat. I think our next generation is doing much better than us. Right? In fact, they are guiding us nowadays on what to do, which is good. We just had my son here last week, right? So we had a long lectures. So that is, and you know, if you look at it, intermittent fasting has become very norm nowadays. But in our ancient culture, it was always there. We never ate before sunrise. We never ate after sunset. Right? तो पवित्रीकरण इसीलिए किया हमने कि आई मीन जब पहली बार जो हमने आचमन किया वो कि हम शरीर की शुद्धि पे पूरा शरीर की शुद्धि का और शरीर की अपनी हेल्थ का पूरा ख्याल रखें. दूसरा जो है वो अपनी मानसिक हेल्थ का ख्याल. दैट्स व्हाई वी डिड द सेकंड वन. शरीर की हेल्थ तो हम समझते हैं पर मानसिक हेल्थ, राइट, आज देखो कितने प्रॉब्लम्स हर जगह पे जाओ, डिप्रेशन, एंजाइटी बहुत कॉमन. और हमारे एंड दैट वन थिंग हमारा जो नेक्स्ट जनरेशन है उसमें ज्यादा है. The tolerance is less also compulsory. तो उसको कैसे ठीक किया जाए? तो उसके लिए भी that is also our responsibility. That, you know, I mean, growing up in India, I did not even realize, and most of you may relate to that, right? कि mental disease is a disease, right? That वहाँ एक friend आके दो थप्पड़ लगा देगा तो आदमी ठीक चलने लगेगा, right? It never happens here, right? People always keep within their own private bubble, right? Even the friends, they only let them reach only up to certain, you know, their that. So we individual and we are not individual people. So इसीलिए हर family में यही issue है. तो and society में तो ज़्यादा है, and that's why sleeping pills are so common in this country. And India is unfortunately has forgotten what we had, and we are heading towards that side also. Right? तो मन की पवित्रता कैसे? तो उसमें बहुत सारी चीजें हैं, पर one of the very great thing that our rishis has given, and that is mantra. Manah trayate iti mantra. The one that controls mind is mantra. So chanting mantra, what does it do? Right. So Gayatri mantra, let me explain, because we are going to give offerings of Gayatri mantra. So it's a prayer for righteous intellect for all. सबके लिए सद्बुद्धि की प्रार्थना है गायत्री. उसमें जो ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः है, ओम, and especially for youth, right? You can relate to Om as the sound form of God. And why is it? So there is a universal energy in this universe that controls. right? एक जो जिसको हम भगवान बोलते हैं, and if you don't relate to any of the forms, you can still relate to that. There is, even science says that there is an energy, or energy is constant, right? But it can transform from one form to another, and there is a huge part of the universe is afterlife. So everything happens for a reason. If it doesn't happen for a reason and anything randomly happening, then you have to throw the science away. So with that, right, you can say that there is a, order, law and order in the universe, and everything, even in the planet, and universe and galaxies, moves within certain laws and certain, behavior. So now, when there is a churning, there is a motion, there is always a sound that is created. Right? Science also says that sound cannot, that motion cannot exist without sound. So you can visualize that sound, or our rishis visualize that sound as Om. And that's why all mantras start with Om. Bhurvua Swa, you can say our physical body, our physical world, mental world, emotional world, we all create our own bubbles, or Sthul, Sukshma and Karan Sharif, or three lokas, any which way you have to relate to. Tat Savitur Varenyam. Tat meaning that, or the form of God. And in Hinduism, God in true sense is omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent, all existing, all providing, all knowing. And that's why Puja Swami Dayanand always says, right, that Hinduism doesn't have concept of one God. Hinduism has a concept of only God. And everything is manifestation. Right? Unlike some of the other religions, then our concepts goes beyond, just the positive energy within that realm of the divinity. Everything in Hinduism is part of God, and we can always become better than who we are. And that is the reason, So that's why God is निराकार निर्गुण. भगवान का जो स्वरूप है वो निराकार है, निर्गुण है हमारे स्क्रिप्चर. तो उसका मतलब क्या है कि उसको जेंडर नहीं. Right? We don't have Father in the heaven, or Allah being very positive, or a male figure. We have only, and Allah is not a male figure, but just a very, very abstract form, right? That we cannot even visualize. It's beyond our perception, and that's why we call it that, genderless. Tat. And Namaste also has the same tat. Namahate iti Namaste. That I bow down to the divinity within you. That is what Namaste. Savitur Varenyam. Savitur is the life force that comes from sun. Varenyam is something I inculcate. जो सविता से जो दिव्य प्रकाश या जो प्राण ऊर्जा आती है उसको हम धारण करें. That is what the Yagya, that is what Tat Savitur Varenyam means. Vargo Devasya Dhimahi, that may I inculcate divinity within that. Right? I become better than who I am by coming or by chanting and absorbing that life force. Diyo Yonah Prachodayat. So Di is intellect. Prachodayat, that may illuminate. Naha is pure. That may that illuminate our intellect on the righteous path, not mine. And the beauty of Gayatri Mantra is that I do the prayer, I do get benefit, but that benefit is not limited to me. Naha is pure. So that the intellect of the whole universe becomes power. What is good for all is good for them. And that's why we have Vasudeva Kutumba. Right? That the whole world is one family. We all have connections. With the world, what we do impacts others, what others do impacts us. Right? So that's why we started with Gayatri Mantra. So now, and so chanting that mantra, basically, you're training your mind to stay positive. And when you learn how to stay positive and focus your mind on a single positive thought, your neurons start refiring, or new sequences are created. So, according, and Swami Tadatmananda, who was a teacher who used to explain very nicely that habits cannot be gotten rid of, but they can be replaced. So by rewiring your brain using mantra, right, you become positive, and that's how you can deal with anxieties and depression. And then fire also has something to do, and that's why seasonal affective disorder and some of those medical, diagnoses always ask you to, look at sun or a bright light and things like that for removing that depression. And antakaran, right? Shuddhi antakaran ki apne थर्ड वन अंतःकरण की शुद्धि के लिए, भावनाओं की शुद्धि के लिए, हमारी श्रद्धा संवर्धन, Without Shraddha, we cannot do anything. Anything that is unknown, we have to take the blind leap of faith. So that is my third, right? If you commit yourself to college, you have to do that. If you commit yourself to marriage, you have to do that. If you decide to bring a child to the earth, you have to take that step, right? Or if you want to go in a business, you have to take that step. So इसीलिए the third one जो सीख लिया, that was for Shraddha Samudra. Then we did, third one was Shikha Bandhan. So we purified that center. This is the highest center of the spinal cord. According to rishis, we had 7 energy centers. 7 चक्रों हैं हमारे जो करोड़रज्जु है उसके ऊपर. सबसे जो नीचे वाला है, that is known as Mulada. Right? That's at the tail of the, and that's where the Shivalinga is representation of that also. And Shivalinga has a serpentine around it, and that is supposed to have 3.5 coils. So that is also known as Kundalini, or representative of Kundalini. So there is a dormant energy that is sitting in all of us. And to awaken this, you have to purify yourself, and there is a whole process on awakening, right? And then when it awakens and it is here, that's where you become enlightened. So what we are doing in this ritual is that we are asking the Divine Mother to establish all its energy here, so that we can start establishing connection with the positivity. That's why we did the third ritual. The तीसरा हमने ritual किया शिखा बंधन का. ये शिखा के स्थान को पवित्र बनाने के लिए, और जो डिवाइन मदरली, और जिसको हम प्रकृति बोलते हैं, वो शक्ति को यहाँ पे लाने के लिए हमने ये जो, and this is सहस्त्र, the highest of the 7 chakras. So सहस्त्र के साथ संबंध बनाना है. If somebody has more interest, we can discuss later after. उसके बाद प्राणायाम करेंगे, डीप ब्रीदिंग. सो इमेजिन दैट देयर इज पॉजिटिव एनर्जी. आपको भावना ये कीजिए कि आज हमारे सराउंडिंग में बहुत सारा प्राण शक्ति का समूह है. You can imagine that as white light, you can imagine that as clouds, any which way you relate to. And then when you inhale, जब आप श्वास खींचेंगे तो भावना ये करनी है संकल्प के साथ, we are taking it inside. कहीं पे भी बैठे. भावना ये करनी है कि हम उसको खींच रहे हैं. And once you hold the breath, right? आप जब श्वास रोकेंगे तो भावना ये करनी है कि may it spread into every cell of our body, releasing toxins. जब हम उच्छ्वास करते हैं, when we exhale, you have to imagine that it's taking all these negative emotions and toxins that were, stored in our energy body and each cell. It's getting relaxed through our exhaling process, and then you hold the breath again, that going far, far, far out. This is a very fundamental, basic pranayam, right? All the pranayams are built upon this same principle. But when you do sankalpa, आप जब संकल्प करते हो प्राणायाम के साथ, तो उसका जो पावर है वो बहुत मल्टीफोल्ड बढ़ जाता है. So I will chant the mantra. You guys do the pranayam at least once with back straight. कमर सीधी करके एक बार प्राणायाम कर लीजिए. There is a Gayatri mantra is part of that also. You don't have to chant with me because then you will lose the concentration on pranayam. Om Bhuhu, Om Bhuvaha, Om Swaha, Om Maha, Om Janaha, Om Tapaha, Om Satyam, Om Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Apo Jyoti Rasomritam Brahma Bhurbhuvah Swaha. Om. न्यासः. तो हमें न्यास में पानी हमारे लेफ्ट हैंड में लेके राइट हैंड की उंगलियों डुबानी है. We have to take water in the left hand or right hand, dip the fingers of the right hand. Then we are gonna purify different limbs of the body, left to right. In Gayatri Parivar, in Arya Samaj, it's right to left. Both has very similar meaning. One is अपवित्रता से पवित्र की ओर, दूसरी ओर हम divine energy ग्रहण कर रहे हैं, right to left. Any which way you feel comfortable, you can do, but with that, just imagine in the right way, right? That either you are cleansing yourself left to right, or you are accepting divine energy right to left. First on the mouth. Om Mang Me Asyestu, then on the nostrils. Om Nasor Me Pranostu, then on the eyes. Om Akshor Me Chakshurastu, Then on the ears, Om Karnayor me Shotamastu. Then on the shoulders, Om Bahor me Balamastu. Then on the legs, Om Urvor me Ojostu. And then on the home, Om Aristani Mengani Tanustanva me Sahasantu. That is a very powerful reminder here also. Right? We are purifying all the inputs of the body. Right? हम जो शरीर के अंदर जहाँ से हम knowledge ग्रहण करते हैं, प्राण शक्ति ग्रहण करते हैं, all those centers we have purified, right? Which is our nostril, mouth, eyes, ears, and then so when input is purified, output also gets purified, and that's why hands, legs, and the whole body, right? Now, one of the other reminder here also that all the limbs has to be healthy and harmony. If only one of the limbs starts malfunctioning, we all the whole body suffers, right? आपको एक छोटा सा टूथ होता है तो भी our functionality goes down. और एक कांटा चुभ जाता है तो भी हमारी functionality goes down because our whole existence becomes focused there. So same thing applies to family also. We all are limb of a family. Right? हम कुटुंब के अंग, कुटुंब के अंदर एक भी व्यक्ति अगर हार्मनी में नहीं है और हेल्दी नहीं है तो पूरा कुटुंब का फोकस वहीं पर चला जाएगा, फंक्शनलिटी में असर आएगा. Same way, families make the society. When the families are not in tune with society, the society suffers, and society makes the nation, nation makes the humanity, right? And that's why we all are connected to the humanity, is what is being reminded us here. And again, we all have been reminded that we only have duty to change ourselves. We cannot change others. We can inspire others to change. So that is also a reminder here. And now relating us to the universe, that's why we do Prithvi Puja. So put your hands and imagine. So Prithvi, we call it Dharti Mata. Prithvi को हम धरती माता के स्वरूप में जानते हैं. So धरती के दो गुण हैं, सहिष्णुता and उदारता, tolerance and acceptance. So we are inculcating those two values within us, acceptance and tolerance. Om Prithvi Dvaya Drita Loka Devi Tvam Vishnuna Drita Tvam Chadaraya Mam Devi Pavitram Kuru Chasanam Pavitram Kuru Chasanam. So far, we use water in all the rituals. तो पानी क्यों? तो पानी has बहुत अलग properties that science is just exploring. Science को अभी बहुत सारी चीजें पता नहीं है. हमारे गुरुदेव का एक आर्टिकल था, उसमें he said कि modern science को 1/1,000,000th of the property पता नहीं है. And so पानी is used in every ritual, and not just us. Christianity also use water, right? And that's why it's known as holy water when they do rituals.
Baptism. Baptism.
And then also, there is if you read Bible, there is a concept of living water. And every ritual, right? Muslims will do waju before any type of puja. Judaic traditions also have water and fire as part of the core rituals. So why water? Because our scriptures talked about water having an energy associated with it known as Vishwa Vidyut. And by the way, Vidyut is a word that happens or that is described in our Vedas. I have found 3 different slokas that has the word Vidyut in it. Vidyut is electricity, right? Or universal energy, you can call it. Vishwa Vidyut. And that's why even when we used to take a bath, we used to chant mantra, invoking presence of all the holy waters. Our grandmothers, if you remember, used to do the red Ganga. Yeah. So there is some modern work that is being done, modern research. Stanford University, where is one professor there, he is now retired, William Tiller. And he started changing, he was a meditator, so he started changing the pH of the water with meditation. And he can change the pH both positive and negative. There is also a professor who used to, he passed away. I have known him personally in Penn State. His name was Professor Rustam Roy, who's a Parsi. And he has also done or worked with him, collaborated with him, and done some research. Now, of course, when you do something outside of the state of the art or normal, right, journals won't accept your papers. So then they have to write white papers and even to do the work that is that sort of research. But the Stanford work is very, very solid. You can check it out. And the labs did exist and people are continuing the work. So our body is 80% of body is water. So that's how we relate to thought, positivity and negativity. That's why हमें सिखाया गया कि सोबत वैसा असर. Company that you become the company that you be. Because you start absorbing energy through that water body. And same thing, Amavasya, Pulam, the full moon day, new moon day, and all those things have biggest impact on the water bodies. And so turbulences are highest also. And that's why certain rituals are designed around, the 11th day of the Purnima or Amavasya. Then the second thing we did is Prithvi Pujan, right? So if you also look at it, there were 5 elemental energies, Pancha Tattva, like water, fire, earth, Vayu means air, and Akash. And Akash is you can call it universe, or you can call it ether. Early Christianity talked about only 4. And Buddhism also talks about the first 4. If you watch that movie, the Demons and Tom Hanks movie, so they also talked about the 4 elements. Kids grew up watching this show, Avatar. There was a movie, Avatar the Airbender, right? So air was the 4th element that it was harvesting energy from, right? So these concepts are there in everywhere. But in our lot more scientific basis, and that's why you will see water being used everywhere, right? Even in Tantric Puja, water is used. So Prithvi is the second element, and it's also considered living thing, and that's why we call it Mother Earth, right? Dharti Mata. Our culture always address. We never address Earth as just plain Earth, right? Or we always call it Prithvi Mata or Dharti Mata. And Dharti means the one who bears you, right? जो हमें धारण करे उसे हम धरती बोलते हैं. Without Mother, life cannot exist. Same way, without Earth, life cannot exist. So this ritual not only teaches you acceptance and tolerance, it's a reminder. सबको ये याद दिलाता है कि हमारी ड्यूटी क्या है पृथ्वी पे, right? What is our duty towards Earth? If you are calling it Mother Earth, do we intentionally try to damage our mother? We should not, right? And it's the environmental sensitivity that is also ingrained as part of this puja. That's why we always do puja, and we consider it a living thing also. So now we do sankalpa. So take water in your, take rice and flowers in your hand. Right. Pati, can you put one dish on here for putting? Soup, what is this? Krishna or Shukla? Always Krishna. It's going up. Up is Sud, right? Up is Shukla or Shukla. Om Vishnu Srimad Bhagavato Mahapurusasya Vishnu Ragyaya Pravartamanasya Shri Brahmano Dvitiya Parade Shri Shetavara Kalpe Vaivasvan Manvantare Bhurloke Jambu Dvipe Bharat Varsh America Varse America Khande Allentown Kshetre Aso Masanam Maso Tamase Krishna Pakshe Astami Titho Ravi Vasare. Then say your Gotra if you know. Gotra is our lineage to the recent. If you don't know, then accept Bharatwaj, which is our Guru's Gotra for this puja. Gotrotpanaha. Then say your name. Namaham. Then repeat this after me. Sat Pravruti Samvardhanaya Duspravruti Unmulanaya Loka Kalyanaya Atma Kalyanaya Vatavarana Parishkaraya Ujjwala Bhavishya Kamana Purtayecha Prabala Purushartam Karishye Asme Prayojanaya Cha Kalashadi Avahita Devata पूजन पूर्वकम यज्ञ कर्म संपादनार्थम संकल्पम अहम करिष्ये. So what we are doing in the presence of the kalasha or the water that is in presence of the kalash. So kalash is representation of the universe, the water inside, where we are invoking the presence of all the divine energy, right? The specific deities that we will invoke the presence. Here in South India, that invocation goes for 45 minutes to an hour. Very simple. But that all invocation happens in that form, in the kalash. And that's why end of that puja, that water will be sprinkled on everybody as a shanti part. And then rest of them is offered to sun. So there are two parts of the sankalpa that we do. The pledge that we took, हमने जो संकल्प किया उसके दो भाग. पहला जो भाग है वो देवी का आह्वान और जो देवी शक्तियों का आह्वान है उसके रिलेटेड है. दूसरा जो है वो हमें क्या क्या बेनिफिट मिलने चाहिए उसमें से उसके ऊपर. The first part of the sankalpa, in fact, it's very powerful, and in fact, there is a time stamp in it. So if you look at it, the modern science only have, you can think of up to millennium, right? They have decades, centuries, millenniums. After millenniums, there is no time scale that I'm aware of. The only very recent one that is now added is, you can call it light year, right? But that also was established in 1972. And 200 years ago, scientists did not even know that light has finite speed. It was 17th century where first time people started discussing that light potentially has finite velocity. Our people knew, right? And that's why if you look at even the Hanuman Chalisa, right? Jojan, the tuck of Saratrayogan, right? And the distance between here to sun. In the 14th century text by Sayan, and that is available in many places, it's survived, that talks about, calculates the speed of the light within 0.01% of what we know currently. So there is a timestamp, and what we did here is it has timestamp, right? It has Parardha, it has Kalp, Manvanta, and there are 24 Manvantas. And so some of you may have heard the analogy, right? Brahma ka din, Brahma ji ka din jo hota hai, wo ek din is 1,00,000 वर्ष के बराबर होता है, right? So our concepts, all these are all time scales. So it's with respect to some origin, and I don't know because there are some there are some different interpretations there, but my gut feeling is that it's with the universe, origin of this universe is what it's referring to. Then kaun se kshetra mein, kaun se din pe, kahan pe, right? On the, on the planet Earth, within that which continent and which area, right? Which day. So it's a GPS location we are giving the energy to come here in the colors. That is what the first part. Second part that I asked you to repeat with me, जो दूसरा जो बात था, जो मेरे साथ आपने बोला, उसमें बहुत मीनिंगफुल मैसेजेस है. सो सबसे पहला जो है, सत प्रवृत्ति संवर्धन है, दुष्प्रवृत्ति उन्मूलन है. अच्छी प्रवृत्तियों का संवर्धन, बुरी प्रवृत्तियों के सामने उन्मूलन, यानी उसके सामने खड़े रहने की बात. We all relate to doing good things for others. What we don't relate to, and especially Hindus, is standing up against what is unjust. You lost that courage over 1,000 years of foreign rules. Right? But that's why if you look at it, every deity has one hand for blessing, the other one is a weapon. And the weapon can be a physical weapon or it can be a knowledge weapon. Right? But that's the part that we have forgotten, right? That we must take for what is stand for what is righteous. Dharmo rakshati rakshita. Right? And that's the part we have forgotten. And that's a reminder, right? That we all need to develop that strength. Second part is loka kalyana. Again, welfare of others. That we should develop the ability to help others. But there is a second condition that is added to that. जो दूसरी condition इसके साथ है, वो है आत्म कल्याण. Right? लोक कल्याण है, आत्म कल्याण. दूसरों का भला, खुद का भी भला. And there is a reason for that. You cannot help somebody. There is a universal principle. You cannot give what you don't have. Simple, right? I mean, you can take a loan and give, but you still own, right? So you cannot give what you don't have. Otherwise, you go bankrupt. So Same thing is reminded here that Atma Kalyana also is as important as Loka Kalyana. If you don't earn money, you cannot do it. If you don't organize your time, you cannot do any type of time management. And we always had that I don't have time at all. भगवान ने सबको 24 आवर्स दिए, सबको 24 घंटे ही मिले हैं. जो अपना समय अच्छी तरह यूज करते हैं उसके पास टाइम निकल आता है, और जो वेस्ट करते रहते हैं उनके पास ऑलवेज टाइम कम रहता है. तो इट्स प्रायोरिटाइज आल्सो, राइट? क्या लाइफ में क्या प्रायोरिटी है, क्या प्रायोरिटी वो डिसाइड करने के बाद ही टाइम, राइट? सो मैनेजमेंट ऑफ टाइम इज व्हाट इज needed if you want to donate time. But is it limited to just the wealth and time? No. Happiness also. If you want happiness in the surrounding, you need to learn how to be happy yourself. If you want to be peace in the surrounding, you cannot scream. And you have to learn how to be peaceful yourself. And that is what the reminder is. And that's why we did the second cycle. And we all have this ability to do. For example, we worship Krishna. Right? And there is a very fine prayer for Krishna, right? Adharam Madhuram. Many of you have used or heard. And it's like 15 lines of just praise of everything about what is Madhur, or what is mind-pleasing, eye-pleasing about Krishna. Right? His smile, his skin color, his mungat, his, everything about Krishna is Madhur. We still keep on talking about it, right? After so many years. What was in his life that was Madhur? And let me walk you through. अगर कृष्ण की लाइफ में जो हुआ हमारी लाइफ में उससे 1/10 भी है, तो we will think of committing suicide. He was born in jail, right? Raised by foster parents, right? They believe his birth parents on the night he was born. 21 or so life-threatening attempt by the time he was a teenager. Starting from when he started drinking milk, right? I mean, putna. And that fight with the snake, and at the age of 15, he has to leave all his loved ones behind, including Radha, and we still pray, but they only childhood of Krishna, right? In fact, Krishna never went back to Gokul, never met Radha or any of his friends again once he moved out. As a king also, he has a constant struggle. And then he was also known, which was the highest insult of those times, right? Which was to show your back in a battlefield, right? That's why Krishna is also known as Ranachod, the one who quit the battle around, right? And ran away. And Jarasandha attacked him 21 times. He saw his entire family, his whole society die of bad habits in front of his eyes. Right? And when he died, there was nobody to pick up even his body for 3 days. Any one of these things happens to us, what would we, right? He still was living so pleasantly that we still talk about his Madhur Katha, right? And we all have been given that ability. That is what the reminder is, right? That yes, life is difficult. We all have tough times. But if we think of this, right, we all have an ability to do better. And that is what is reminded in this. Then Vatavarana Parishkaraya. So this process of doing Yagya itself purifies the environment. And we have started research in DSV. ये जो यज्ञ की जो process है, ये वातावरण को भी पवित्र करती है, भावनाओं को भी पवित्र करती है, physical atmosphere को भी medical benefits. So in fact, I am presenting a paper in World Hindu Congress on the work that we are doing in the Dev Sanskriti Vishwavidyalaya with some scientific data now, just initial stages of data. But I have become a very firm believer, right, that Yagya can do many, many magical things to the world that we have developed. Of course, we have to prove it with science. If you think of Ramayana also was followed up after Ravana was killed, and this is the time that we are now, right? That Ravana was killed 2 days from now. After Ravana was killed, what happened? His thought process, he in his life influenced so many people with his negative thinking, right? That's why he created the whole area, right? That was his disciples or followers. How was it clean, right? That thought process to clean that's why the Ashwamedh Yagyas were done. And that's why 10 Ashwamedh Yagyas were done. We only talk about the one where the horse and the love story, but there were 10 of them. That's why when Modi ji goes to Ganga to Dwarka, there is this Ashwamedh, right? And that's why even if you go to, there is in the Yagya Rupi Prabho Hamare Bhavu Jul Kijiye, Chhod De Vichal Kapat Ko, Manasik Lam Dijiye. So it inspires us to become better also. Yeah. And it's a mass scale you can do. So Ashwamedh, Rajsu Yagya, they were done for awakening of nations, cleansing the thoughts of large. Then the next one is उज्जवल भविष्य कामना होते हैं. हम यज्ञ इसलिए करते हैं कि हम सबको उज्जवल भविष्य की कामना है हमारे लिए, हमारे जो चाहने वाले हैं उनके लिए, कि हम, और पूजा टिपिकली उसी टाइम करते हैं. हम कबीर जी का जो दोहा है उसको भूल जाते हैं, राइट, कि दुख में हरि को 100 बजे, सुख में बजे न कोई, राइट. दुख में हरि, सुख में हरि को जो बजे, दुख का है तो हो जाए. वो हमारा ह्यूमन नेचर है, हम भूल जाते हैं. We always forget, right? So that's why we do puja, is to seek a bright future for us. But then our rishis also put a very strong condition with it, that prabala purushartham karishe. There is no alternative to hard work. You can take a shortcut win once in a while, but long term, only thing that. So without hard work, none of these things benefit. So just puja itself is not fruitful. Puja gives you positive energy for a while, but unless you convert that energy into something that is, you put it in the routine practice. And if just puja is good enough, no pujari will come. Why would they not do Lakshmi puja in their own home, right? Rather than coming to your home to get Dakshina. So it's living the life, transforming the life using this puja is where the real benefit comes. So now we will do Chandan Dharan. So take there is a red kumkum there. Put little bit of water in there, and then put it on each other or on some, whatever you think. When किसी को कोई question है तो पूछ लेना. If anybody has any question, please feel free. Please like that. I'm not gonna single you out, but you probably have the most questions, right?
श्लोक बोले पछी.
हाँ. ओम चंदनस्य महत्पुण्यं पवित्रं पापनाशनम् आपदां हरति नित्यं लक्ष्मी तिष्ठति सर्वदा. लक्ष्मी तिष्ठति सर्वदा. So this sloka ends with Lakshmi Tisthati Sarvada. Right? We will also do Lakshmi Puja at Diwali time. But isn't that what we spend our life on? Right? हमारी पूरी जिंदगी लक्ष्मी के पीछे भागते भागते निकाल देते. We spend all our time. There is no end to it. Right? हमारे लिए हो गया, फिर बच्चों के लिए, फिर बच्चों के लिए हो गया, तो उनके बाद क्या, right? We keep on never stop, right, thinking about it. So how do we ever think that of the wealth that we have earned will benefit 4 generations from us? The history says no, right? We also says that Lakshmi Chanchal, right? The Lakshmi sthir nahi hai. So the formula that is given here, if you want to benefit 4 generations from now, that is the formula given. Lakshmi Tishtati Sarvada. Why? So Chandanasya Mahapunyam. So typically in ancient time, people used to look at Chandana. Then and even Kumkum. So one not well-known fact about Kumkum, at least in North India, South Indians know, is that the way it is made, right? This is not a pure Kumkum. Pure Kumkum is nothing but 99% turmeric with little bit of the lemon and slight soda. Yeah, the dark red that you find in South Indian homes is made dark.
Made with haldi?
Yes, 99% haldi.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, North Indians don't know. So what happens, right? So the Chandan has 2 properties. Chandan के 2 गुण है, शीतलता और स्मूथ, calmness and compassion. Unless the family and individuals become calmer and have compassion in their life, wealth will not stay. In India, those who grew up in India are well aware that we have the history. The good part is that historical records are, we are more familiar because families are connected in that. Every village used to have a kind of a strong man, right? Without his approval, nothing can move or no decision can be made, right or wrong.
Yeah.
Right? Where is that family now? Right? Their big Havelis, where are they? Right? They're all gone because they lack these 2 things, right? At the same time, the reverse is also true. Where money survived. There are families that have survived 7-10 generations, like Birlas, Modis, Tatas, and there are many more. All philanthropic families. So देने से बढ़ता है, right? The more you give, the more you get in long term. भगवान का भी एक प्रिंसिपल है, लॉ कर्मों के मुताबिक, right? कि आप अगर देने को राजी नहीं है तो आपको मिलेगा भी नहीं। आपको अगर बोना है, काटना है तो बोना पड़ेगा। तो इसीलिए गायत्री परिवार के अंदर प्री कंडीशन टू बिकम मेंबर ऑफ गायत्री परिवार इज डेली डोनेशन, daily donation of time, daily donation of money. And here, our guru only asks for 10 cents, 10 paisa, 36 rupees a month, a year, right? But there are lakhs of people who donate that, right? But giving it daily has a very big impact versus doing it once a year, right? हम लोग support a child करते हैं, right? We do a charity and support a child. Lots of people are involved, right? But even including me, right? I write one check a year, right? Versus you take dollar out every day. You contemplate giving 365 times. So teaching kids to do that is very, very useful, right? And those who are raising smaller kids, I mean, you have one young kid here, right? Give them $1 a day, put it in a piggy bank, and at the end of the month, ask them to, decide where they want to donate. I mean, when they are young, you can donate it them. Let them contemplate where the money will be used the best. But then you inculcate giving. Karuna जागृत हो जाती है, right? And then you have direct connection with God. If you have a false hope that kids will go to mandir and follow our traditions in the mandir, very unlikely. No mandir. And we run HMEC and I have been through 100+ mandir, right? Every mandir common problem, right? No second generation in management, no second generation relates to it. So teach them to be compassionate, and then you have a direct connection with God. Right? And it's never too late, right? You can do that anytime, right? Start getting them involved in the charity. So now there are scientific things also, right? Chandan, both Chandan and turmeric, which is part of the kumkum, when you place it here, right? Both of them are known to decalcify, right? Toxins, it pull toxins from inside out, right? So one of the hypotheses is that it decalcifies your pineal pituitary, right behind that. Your gray matter. Right? Haldi karne, so everybody probably who grew up in India have used it once in a while, right? When there is a muscle pain or even micro cracks in the bone cracks. And Yagya chakra is also here, right? So you stimulate the Yagya chakra by doing that. And this used to be a daily practice, both male and female. And that's why you see all ancient characters, right? They all will have tilaks. Ram, Krishna, Karna, Sabha. So now we do Raksha Sutram. So there is Swati. So married females on left, all unmarried females and males on right. And Shidri, you decide on the one. You can put it on left or right, right? So left represents youth, right represents individual. Whatever you feel, right, emotionally, you do. ओम रतेन दीक्षाम आपनोति दीक्षा आपनोति दक्षिणाम दक्षिणा श्रद्धम आपनोति श्रद्धया सत्यमाप्यते श्रद्धया सत्यमाप्यते. So the closest to this is Raksha Bandhan, and the festival of Raksha Bandhan we put this. Raksha Bandhan के समय हम राखी बांधते हैं, especially sister puts it on a brother. Huh?
This is Marathi.
No, this is not Rakhi, but it is Raksha Sutra. वो रक्षा बंधन में
बेचारी को conscious हो गई, मैं राखी निकाल.
वो राखी तो sister to brother. This is for भगवान से protection.
भाई बेचारे बहुत अच्छे.
So left and right has also one significance. दाएं और बाएं का एक married couple में significance ये है. We are equal but not the same. Right? हमारा जो आजकल का modern युग में जो सबसे बड़ा problem है कि we try to, I mean, we are equal in strength, but we compete also, right? Rather than complement. Right? We are not the same, and we can never be same, right? No couple can tell that they think alike. No couple. Because we are not the same. God has never created two minds the same, right? And we perceive the world differently. We see things differently. We make decisions differently, right? So respecting each other, and that's why शादी में भी वही होता है. शादी में the last reminder that is there in the सप्तपदी is मित्रता की वृद्धि के लिए, right? Not only couple needs to be friends, they need to increase the level of friendship. That means accepting it. The friends don't keep on nagging to each other, right? Otherwise, they won't be friends anymore.
So we do everything differently, but live together.
Yes, but that's we have to, but if we start complimenting each other, if we start complimenting each other, right, understanding, the strengths and weaknesses for each other, becoming the strength for each other, and compensate each other's weakness, right? Married life is one of joy, and kids would appreciate it on top of it. So that is why we did this as a prayer with seeking blessings from the divine and protection. And it's also a reminder that today we'll take a pledge of doing something good. अच्छी चीज हम भूल जाते हैं, तुरंत बुरी चीजें हमें याद रहती है. शादी में 20 साल पहले क्या हुआ, we'll remember, right? वो भी $20 की चीज के लिए. which can take only 10 minutes to earn sometimes, or less than an hour to earn, and we have wasted 20 years of our own life force thinking about that, right?
That's true.
And it's just how much value you attach. Your pain is proportional to the value you attach. Right? If you don't attach value to those things and just look it in the absolute term, then it's less painful. So now we do Kalash Puja. So Malhotra ji, aap aa jaइए. Kalash. But you have flowers there. ओम तत्त्वयामि ब्रह्मणा वन्दमानः तदा शास्त्रे यजमानो हविर्भिः अहेमानो वरुणेह बोध्यरुषगुं समान आयुः प्रमोषिः ओम मनोजुति जुषतामाजस्य बृहस्पतिर्यज्ञमिमं तनोत्वरिष्ठं यज्ञगुं समिमं दधातु विश्वे देवास इहमादयन्तां मोरों प्रतिष्ठा ओम वरुणाय नमः आवाहयामि स्थापयामि ध्यायामि ओम गन्धाक्षतं पुष्पाणि धूपं दीपं नैवेद्यं समर्पयामि ओम कलशस्थ देवताभ्यो नमः ओम कलशस्य मुखे विष्णु कंठे रुद्र समाश्रित मूले तस्य स्थितो ब्रह्मा मध्ये मातृगणास्मृता कुक्षोदुसागरा सर्वे सप्तद्वीपा वसुंधरा ऋग्वेदोत यजुर्वेदः सामवेदो यथर्वण अंगेश सहिता सर्वे कलशन्तु समाश्रिता अत्र गायत्री सावित्री शांति पुष्टि करी सदा त्वयि तिष्ठन्ति भूतानि त्वयि प्राणा प्रतिष्ठिता शिवं स्वयं त्वमेवासि विष्णुस्त्वं च प्रजापति आदित्या वसवो रुद्रा विश्वे देवाय सपेत्रिका त्वयि तिष्ठन्ति सर्वेऽपि यतः कामफलप्रदा तत्प्रसादादिदं यज्ञं कर्तुमीहे जलोद्भव सानिध्यं कुरु मे देव प्रसन्नो भव सर्वदा प्रसन्नो भव सर्वदा. So as I mentioned, the Kalash is the one in which we are going to invoke the presence of all the deities. So that's why we also do the puja for that. There is also a reason we put coconut over Kalash, right? The Shrifal. The Shrifal is the one who is supposed to give you Shri, right? The prosperity. How does it do that, right? So Shrifal is representation of us. We all are like Shrifal. We all are very soft, very loving from inside. We are very caring from inside. And our true nature itself is Satchidanand Ananda, right? That Anand is part of our true nature, right? Joy. But we don't experience it. Why is that? Because just like the coconut, we have put that hard shell around it. That is our ego, number one, right? Our laziness and all our weaknesses. The reason we are putting coconut with the three eyes facing down, and sometimes we also put leaves around it also. But toward the deep, where the divine knowledge is going to come, or the divine energy is going to come, that we associate ourselves with the divinity or divine principles or the good behavior, right? We start dissolving that. And that's why end of the puja, either we offer coconut as a purnamati or we break it for the prasadam. And by breaking it means that we are going to take a pledge that we are going to shatter all our weaknesses so that our inner joy, our true quality starts coming out. And then we also share it with everybody. That's why we offer the water that comes out of as a prasadam to everybody. So one more thing, when I chanted the mantra and then I did the kalash prarthana. So in that prarthana, there was one thing from science perspective, it really intrigued me. It says Kukshotu Sagara Sarve Sapta Dvipa Vasundhara. So Sapta is 7, Dvipa is island, Vasundhara is earth. Earth is made of 7 continents, is known in our Vedic times, right? Modern context, it's only 1,000 years or 1,500 years ago, right? When people started talking about Earth is not flat. In fact, our geography is known as Bhugol. Bhu is earth, Gol is round. That earth is round is even the subject that we call. And again, that's a word that comes from Vedic times. It's a Sanskrit word. The only reason I remind this because there is a lot of science in these rituals that we have forgotten. And science has taught us, in fact, stuff in our mind, right, that we must demand proof to accept, and that is perfectly fine, right? We should all, and I'm a scientist myself, so there's no reason, to doubt that. But science has a counter principle that we forget all the time, and that is to reject a hypothesis or a claim also requires proof. And so our ego comes in the way, and we don't say that I don't understand. It is possibility, but it's beyond my understanding or beyond the current state of that understanding. And it is possible, right? We don't do that, right? And that's why, if you read the books like Autobiography of Yogi or something, you have to take that blind leap of faith, right? A lot of things that are happening there. But then again, from science point of view, there are no chamatkars. Chamatkar is something, that happens only, right, when something happens that is beyond our current understanding. From chamatkar. So now we will do Deep Puja. So why don't you come from that? All 5 of you come. Light the lamp. Yeah, come. Yeah, all of you. All 5. Lighter यहाँ पे है. Yeah. No, on that. Light. Om Agnir Agni Swaha Suryo Jyoti Surya Swaha Agnir Vacha Swaha Suryo Vacha Swaha Jyoti Suryo Jyoti Swaha. So what we are doing here, we are now invoking the third energy element. तीसरा तत्व है जिसे अग्नि तत्व बोलते हैं, उसका आह्वान किया हमने. And then what we also did, Agni Jyoti Agni Swaha, Suryo Jyoti Agni Swaha. So Agni, Jyoti and Surya. So Jyoti, the light that is being formed here is the physical form. Right? उसका स्थूल स्वरूप. उसका जो प्रकाश आता है उसका सूक्ष्म स्वरूप. और उसका जो सूर्य जहां से उसके सोर्स के साथ हम कनेक्ट करते हैं, सूर्य को उसका कारण स्वरूप माना जाता है. इसलिए सूर्य का आह्वान करके, सूर्य की शक्ति का आह्वान करके यहाँ पे, क्योंकि हमारी जो पूरी अर्थ की व्यवस्था है वो सूर्य की शक्ति से चलती है. If sun doesn't reach here, so then life will be totally disturbed on the earth. So इसीलिए we did that. It's fine. It doesn't stay fine. We would like the lamp here. It was symbolic. But इसीलिए नवरात्रि के अंदर अखंड दीपक का भी कॉन्सेप्ट. One thing that also, right, यहाँ पे जो होता है, हम घी का दिया जलाते हैं. So घी क्यों? So I recently found कि जो घी होता है उसको आप बहुत लंबे समय तक स्टोर कर सकते हैं. To the point कि घी, I have found a source now of 700-year-old. But 100-year-old ghee is very common in India. And if you remember, or if you think about it, right, even in our own ancestral homes, ghee was always in an earthen pot, never washed. Like you always take old ghee out, when it's done, you add new ghee in. But that's only related to Indian origin basic house. Right? So now if it is a very powerful, if it doesn't spoil, no fungus growth, it's also very powerful. So the heater is ऊपर लाए ऊपर से सारा गरम करने ही लाया और ऊपर से heater को गरम करेंगे. Yeah, that's fine. They will take care of it. So now when you burn the ghee, it fumigates the house also. Just like I think जो बचपन में किसी ने mischief किया होगा तो remember कि जो अग्नि के अंदर अगर आपने if you put बाल मिर्च डाल दी तो पूरा block पूरा whole community, everybody around will sleep, right? Why? Because the essential oil of red pepper gets become very subtle and spreads in the surroundings. Same thing when you burn the ghee, it moves in the house and disinfect the house. Now we have to prove this scientifically. I'm asking the lab there in DSU to do that. Hopefully within a year or two, we are buying DCMH now. So once that is there, then we should be able to do so. So hopefully within a year or two, we should have some data. That is the hypothesis here. That is why that was a daily practice. Every household had a light that was lit, lamp was lit in every household. Other thing was also it was always there in the kitchen. Right? So in South India, I think that the female monthly cycles are very, very, religiously practiced. Right? In North India, things have opened up a little bit. But part of the reason they are also because the lamp is always in the kitchen, and that forces the females to stay away from the kitchen, right? To give them rest was the main. Another thing is Agni as a tattva is an amplifier. It's a capacitor and an amplifier. So that's why Akhanda Agni, the older it gets, the more powerful it becomes. And that's why if you go to our headquarters in Gayatri Parivar in Shantikund, our Guru, when he started his Gayatri Mahapurushana, he lit a lamp that is still burning known as Akhanda Jyoti. It's 95, 96 years now. And I can count 60 crore mantras or 600 million mantras chanted in front of me. And there is also, I have found places in Ahmedabad, there is Agni that is 400 years old. And in Shantikund also, in one of the Havan Kund, has an Agni that came from Himalaya. It's considered to be 700 years old. Continuously burning. It's a more negative energy also, right? So it amplifies negative energy also, positive energy also. That's one of the reasons that females are restricted to worship during those days. Or after, if you have any guru, invoke their presence here also, right? Symbolically, we are going to invoke the presence of Gayatri Parivar or Hamare Guru. For our individual guru, remember them also. Okay? I think there's some subtle presence here to bless all of us. Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Para Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Akhanda Mandala Akaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Om Shri Guruve Namah Avahayami Stapayami Dhyayami Gandhakshatam Puspani Rupam Deepam Naivedyam Samarpayami. अभी हम गायत्री का आवाज करेंगे और rice and flour.
I replate અહીંયા છે. ના અહીંયા લોકો કરે છે.
आयातु वरदे देवी त्र्यक्षरे ब्रह्मवादिनी गायत्री छन्दसा माता ब्रह्मयोने नमोस्तुते. ओम श्री गायत्री नमः. आवाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि ध्यायामि गन्धाक्षतं पुष्पाणि धूपं दीपं नैवेद्यं समर्पयामि. ओम स्तुतामया वरदा वेदमाता प्रचोदयन्तं पावमानि द्विजानाम् आयुः प्राणं प्रजं पशुं कीर्तिं द्रविणं ब्रह्मवचसं मह्यं दत्त्वा व्रजत ब्रह्मलोकम्. अभी लास्ट होता है गणेश जी के लिए। where did you put Ganesh?
गणेश जी ऊपर से
ओम अभिप्सिदाद्यं सिद्ध्यर्थं पूजितो यः सुरासुरे सर्वविघ्नहरस्तस्मै गणाधिपतये नमः। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। आवाहयामि स्थापयामि ध्यायामि गन्धाक्षतं पुष्पाणि धूपं दीपं नैवेद्यं समर्पयामि। सर्वमंगल मांगल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थ साधिके शरण्ये त्र्यंबके गौरी नारायणी नमोस्तुते नारायणी नमोस्तुते। अगर एक आपका तो आपको और शंकर भगवान तो शिव विष्णु ब्रह्मा विष्णु महेश तीनों के रूप में शंकर भगवान। मंगलम भगवान विष्णु मंगलम गरुड़ध्वज मंगलम पुंडरीकाक्षो मंगलाय तनो हरि त्वं वै चतुर्मुखो ब्रह्मा सत्यलोक पितामह। अच्छकम मंडले चास्मिन् मम सर्वार्थ सिद्धये शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभांगं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिविद्यानगम्यं वन्दे विष्णु भवभयहरे सर्वलोकनाथं वन्दे देवोमामतीसुरगुरुं वन्दे जगत्कारणं वन्दे भूषणं मृगधरं वन्दे पशूनां वन्दे सूर्यशशाङ्कवह्निनयनं वन्दे मुकुन्दप्रियं वन्दे भक्तजनाश्रयं च वरदं वन्दे शिवं शङ्करं वन्दे शिवं शङ्करम्। Then we say, so there are many other we can go, but I'm just going to leave it here, and then we are going to say, Om Sarvebhyo Devebhyo Namah Avahayami Stapayami Dhyayami Gandhakshatam Pushpani Dhupam Deepam Naivedyam Samarpayami. So we hear this all the time, right? Om Gandhakshatam Pushpani Dhupam Deepam Naivedyam Samarpayami Jalam also. So Samarpayami, what does it mean? I offer. Right? Why do we offer flower to deities? Right? Flower is, it is created by God, offering something back to the creator, right? Then we are what we are doing, just taking a small piece of it and giving it back. It's like if grandmother has made a sweater for you, and you take one thread out and offering back to grandmother, this is my gift to you. So why do we do this, right? It's all symbolic. And symbolic is that what we are offering is not the flower itself, but what flower represents, which is the joy. The fragrance comes out. Right? Ultimate sacrifice, right? That's how flower finds, its place into the feet of the divine or as part of the garland. Right? It's the joy of sacrifice, right? And those are the qualities that we are. Same thing, Gandham, right? It also burns itself to give fragrance. Deepam, right? Or Dhupam, right? They either give light or a fragrance out by burning stuff, right? Jalam, purification, right? And those are the things that we need to contemplate. Akshat means rice. Rice is Akshat. Akshat is unbreakable, right? When we offer rice, we need to ask ourselves, is my faith in the divine? And divine you can define as law of karma. In the karma, unbreakable, unshakable, right? And those are the things, that's why these rituals always have these offerings, right? That it's a reminder to us. So you know the presence here now? It's typically, once this is done also, then there is a Shodapasara Pujanam and things like that, where, typically you offer water and, in ancient times, you have sometimes a brittle nut, at least in North India, and then we make 16 offerings to that. So the symbolic reason there is that we invoke that presence or consider that Pitamat as the form of the Bhagwan or as the form of जो हम सुपारी डालते हैं सुपारी के को हम भगवान के स्वरूप में देखते हैं. And then we offer water just like an ancient time a guest would come to your place, right? First thing you do is offer water, and they have come from a dirt road from a long distance. Water for washing feet, for drinking, for taking bath. Then we offer clothes, and in ancient time Yagya also was given, and both males and females used to wear Yagya. It's only last 1,000 years that Yagya has gone out of females and also non-Brahmins. But before that, every male and female used. That's why Hanumanji and Jano is part of the Hanuman Janism. Right? If you go to 10th New York Metropolitan Museum, we say 10th century Durga statue with Jano also. And if you look at even Ramayana serial, you will see Sita wearing it. So Jano is given at the age of 9. It's one of the 16 sanskaras. And that's where Gayatri Mantra is taught. And that gives you that ability to choose between right and wrong because you start off your karma. So male, female were treated equally in ancient times. Just the last several centuries that we have lost that. So that is I'm skipping that because otherwise everybody will hear it 12:30 months. स्वस्ति वाचनम. तो सब हाथ में फूल और चोखा ले लीजिए हाथ के अंदर. देन स्वस्ति वाचन के माध्यम से हम अंतरिक्ष में जो यूनिवर्सिटी है उसके साथ संबंध बांधते हैं. We establish our connection with the divine energy in the universe through this chanting. Om Gananam Tva Ganapatigam Havamahe Priyanam Tva Priyapatigam Havamahe Nidhinam Tva Nidhipatigam Havamahe Vaso Mama Ahamajani Garbhadamma Tvamajasi Garbhadamma. Om Swasti Nah Indro Vratashavaha Swasti Nah Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti Nastaraksho Arishtademi Swasti No Brihaspati Dadatu. Payah Prithvi Vyapaya Ausadishu Payo Divyantarikshe Payodaha Payaspati Pradisaha Santu Mayamma. Om Vishnu Raratamasi Vishnu Swapnestro Vishnu Syurasi Vishnu Dhruvo Asi Vaishnavamasi Vishnavetva. Om Agni Devata Vado Devata Suryo Devata Chandrama Devata Vasavo Devata Rudra Devata Aditya Devata Maruto Devata Vishwe Deva Devata Brihaspati Devatendro Devata Varuna Devata. Om Shanti 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 Sarvarishta Sushantir Bhavatu. You can keep it.
Everybody.
Now, one person on every Havan gets a take few rice grains in their hand. Only one person per food. Then you have to stand up. One person. So we are going to establish positive energy for protection on every Havan. So in the east first, then 45 degrees clockwise, all 8 directions, then Antariksh and Patal. Akash and Patal. Om Purve Rakshatu Araha through 1 grade. Agne Yam Garuda Dvaja, Dakshine Padmana Bastu, Nairutyam Madhusudana, Paschime Chaiva Govindo, Vaya Vyatu Janardana, Uttare Sripati Rakshet, Eshanyam Hi Maheshwara, Urdhva Rakshatu Datavo, Yato Nantaksha Rakshatu, Anuptamapi Yatastanam, Rakshati Shomamaditu, Apasarpantu Ye Bhuta, De Bhuta, Ye Bhuta, Bhuti Sansita, Ye Bhuta Vigna Kartara, Te Gachantu Shivagya. Apakramantu Bhutani, Pisacha Sarvatodisam, Sarvesham Virodena, Yagna Karma Samarabhe, Yagna Karma Samarabhe. It says Apakramantu Bhutani, Pisacha Sarvatodisam, Sarvesham Virodena, Yagna Karma. So, there is negative forces all in the surrounding, right? And many times it's within us too. Right? So we need to seek protection from them because we are trying to make a place to do something good here. Ramayana, very famous story of that when Vishwamitra was doing his yagya, he had to call राम एंड लक्ष्मण प्रोटेक्ट। सो यही चीज हमारी लाइफ में भी होती है। आज हम अच्छा संकल्प लेने जा रहे हैं, यज्ञ करने जा रहे हैं, तो हमारे साथ भी नेगेटिव अटैक हो सकता है अंदर से भी। हमारे वी हैव टू फाइट विद आवरसेल्फ आल्सो। हमारे अंदर की जो लेजीनेस है, यू नो, इफ यू टेक अ प्लेस टू डू समथिंग, वी हैव टू फाइट विद आवरसेल्फ फर्स्ट एंड देन द सराउंडिंग आल्सो, बिकॉज़ यू नो, if you decide to wake up at 5 in the morning, the family members initially will have tough time to get adjusted of that noise and everything else, right? So for that, you know, that till we finish our sankalpa, we stay to protection. That's why we established divine energy in all 10 directions. That is what it was. Now we do Agni Stapana. So I think you may have to put warm ghee and all of that.
Yes.
Huh?
There is already blended ghee is there already.
अभी अग्नि स्थापन करना।
Copper, right? You can use that to.
हाँ, that's right. Okay. That's right. तो एक बार गर्म हो जाएगा, बाद में touch करेंगे। अग्नि स्थापनम। So now we have to lit. No, not that. But we have to light the fire inside. ओम भूर्भुवः स्वर्गोरीव भुम्ना पृथिवीव परिज्ञा तस्यास्ते पृथिवी देवयजनी पुष्टे अग्निमन्नादमन्नादायादते अग्निं दूतं प्रोदते हव्यवाहमुपब्रुवे देवाम् आसादयाद्य ओम अग्ने नमः आवाहयामि स्थापयामि ध्यायामि गन्धक्षतं पुष्पाणि धूपम दीपम नैवेद्यम समर्पयामि। There's a wick inside. हाँ, तो wick को component के ऊपर there's a wick, so you can take it out and then put stuff around it. तो हमने ये अग्नि देवता का स्थापन किया, यज्ञ भगवान का आह्वान किया। जनमंडलम दीप्तिकरम विशालम प्रभं रतनादिरूपं दारिद्र्य दुःख क्षयकारणं च पुनातुनां तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं जनमंडलं वेदविदोपगीतं यद्योगिना योगपथानुगम्यं तत्सर्ववेदं प्रणमामि दिव्यं पुनातु मां तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं पुनातु मां तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं। So now we lit the fire for it to build and prosper, right? We have to give it air. The same way, आज हमने अच्छा काम करने का संकल्प किया, इसके ऊपर अगर हम पॉजिटिव एनर्जी नहीं देंगे, पॉजिटिव रिइंफोर्समेंट नहीं देंगे, तो it can die out. Same way, the fire will die out if you don't give it air. And if there is no air, smoke will start coming out. Right? And that is not good. So same thing, it's symbolically we are giving air. So with your hand, give it air so that the fire can build up. Om Udbudvasakne Pratijagruhi Tvamishta Purteshagum Shujethamayam Cha Asmin Sadaste Asmin Tattasadaste Adhyuttarasmin Vishve Deva Yajamanascha Sidata. Now Samhita, so we are offering 4 offerings first, only one person at a time. So you can, there are 4 of them, so you can team up on the one. Create 4 groups. So first group, take that the wooden stick and dip both sides of it, both ends in the. Now very first one when I offer, that is for strength of the body. It's only one person or the one next to it or everybody else who uses it. When I say swaha, that's where you take the offering. When I say swaha, that's where. Om ayanta idma atma jata veda sene dasma vandasma chitta valchaya chasman prajaya pasubhima brahma valchasena annadena samedaya swaha idam agne jata veda se idam namama. Second one is for strength of mind. मन शक्ति का विकास करने के लिए दूसरा है मनोबल के लिए. ओम समिदाग्निन्दुवस्य तद्रितेर्बोधयतातिदम् अस्मिन् हव्यजुहोतन स्वाहा इदम् अग्रे इदम् नमः. तीसरा जो है वो आत्मबल के लिए, फॉर इनर स्ट्रेंथ के लिए. इट इज फॉर इनर स्ट्रेंथ. द थर्ड वन, थर्ड ऑफरिंग. ओम सुसमिताय सोतिषे धृतं तीव्रं जुहोतन अग्नये जातवेदसे स्वाहा इदं अग्नये जातवेदसे इदं नामः. And the fourth one is for divine grace, ब्रह्म बल. जो चौथी आहुति है वो ब्रह्म बल के लिए. ओम तत्वा समित बिरंगिरो धृतेन वर्धयामसि बृहच्छोचाय विष्टय स्वाहा इदं अग्ने अंगिरसे इदं नामः. जल प्रसेचनम. So one person take water and put it first on the east side of the Havan Kund. No, plastic नहीं, वो metal ले लीजिए. Metal ले लीजिए. Metal जो है ना So first on the east side, outside on the east of the Havan. Om Aditya Manasva on the east side of the Havan. East side, outside. Where you are sitting. Then on the east side. Om Anumate Manasva iti Paschime on the west side. Then on the north. Om Saraswati Anumanasva iti Uttare. And then one full circle. Clockwise. Om Deva Savitah Prasuvayakyam Prasuvayakyamatim Bhagaya Divyo Gandharvah Ketapuhu Ketam Nah Punatu Vachaspate Vacham Nah Swadatu. So water controls fire. जो अग्नि जो होता है वो पानी जो होता है अग्नि का शामक होता है. तो पानी के माध्यम से we are taking with the water, we are saying that the energy that is generated here today only used for righteous purpose. It doesn't become destructive because energy if it becomes uncontrolled becomes destructive, right? No matter what type of energy. So the Yagya energy also only used for dedicated righteous purpose. That is why we need the water. And in the big Havan Kund there is also water drainage around the Havan Kund also so that the insects don't stroll in. Ajahuti. So now we are going to offer 7 ghee offerings. So one I said swaha and then you put the droplets of the prasadam of the ghee, left ghee, right after the offering into one of the water bowls. And we are doing it 7 times for 7 different days.
7 times.
Om Prajapataye Swaha. Idam Prajapataye Idam Namaha. Om Indraya Swaha. Idam Indraya Idam Namaha. Om Agnaye Swaha. Idam Agnaye Idam Namaha. Om Somaya Swaha. Idam Somaya Idam Namaha. Om Bhu Swaha. Idam Agnaye Idam Namaha. Om Bhuva Swaha. Idam Vayve Idam Namaha. Om Swaha Swaha. Idam Suryaya Idam Namaha. So the first one was for Prajapati Parmeshwar, for the universe. The second one was for us, which was represented by Indra. The third one was for Agni, which is represented by prosperity or Vaibhav. जो तीसरी आहुति थी वो वैभव के लिए, चौथी आहुति शांति के लिए, सोम को. The fourth one was for peace, for Som. And then the Bhu, Bhuva, Swaha. Again, the mind, body, and our inner self. That's why we give 7 offerings. Now we do Gayatri Mantra offering. So everybody will give offering. One person will give ghee offering. Everybody else will give Havan Samagri. We do 11 times?
Yeah.
So chant with me, the more collectively chant the mantra, the more powerful the effect becomes. Om Bhurvuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat Swaha. Om Bhurvuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat Swaha. Om Bhurvuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् स्वाहा इदं नामः ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् स्वाहा ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् ओम एकदन्ताय विद्महे वक्रतुण्डाय धीमहि तन्नो दन्तिः प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा इदम् एकदन्ताय इदं नमः एक हनुमान जी का ओम मंजरीसुताय विद्महे वायुपुत्राय धीमहि तन्नो मारुतिः प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा इदं मारुते इदं नमः एक सूर्य भगवान ओम भास्कराय विद्महे दिवाकराय धीमहि तन्नो सूर्यः प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा इदं सूर्याय इदं नमः ओम पंचवक्त्राय विद्महे महादेवाय धीमहि तन्नो रुद्रः प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा इदं मारुत्राय इदं नमः एक प्रकट प्रज्ञा एक चंद्र श्रद्धा and you may not understand but I will explain later what that is ओम प्रकट प्रज्ञाय विद्महे महाकालाय धीमहि तन्नो श्रीरामः प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा इदं महाकालाय इदं नमः ओम सजल श्रद्धाय विद्महे महाशक्ते धीमहि तन्नो मां भगवती प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा इदं महाशक्ते इदं नमः Oh, Durga's birthday. Okay, so we do Mahamrutya mantra ahuti for Durga. And anybody who has a birthday in this house, and Pawanji's birthday also. And anybody in the family, Sridevi. So all family members and anybody who has birthday this week.
Yeah, mine.
19 October. Okay, so we do the 3 Mahamrutya mantra for everybody. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardanam स्वाहा इदं मामृत्या इदं नामः ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् स्वाहा इदं मामृत्या इदं नामः ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् स्वाहा इदं मामृत्या इदं नामः कृष्णकृत होमाः सो आपके पास वो साकर है, शुगर क्यूब्स
हाँ,
आते हैं,
sugar.
हाँ, तो वो स्वीट। हाँ, इसके बाद ये जब स्विस अक्रूत होम में you have to offer that. So sweet meaning that every dish should have sugar
ये
cubes.
जो आपने
We offer that, so this is known as a prayashchita also. And it's a Swiss Kruta Homa. So seeking confession, right? When you confess something, it removes the load from your inner side, right? And it's very difficult to confess in front of a person. Here, our Rishi said that confess in front of the Yagya Bhagwan, right? If you have hurt somebody's feeling, if you have to say sorry, say it, communicate that feeling through Yagya. Because when you try to do it in person, it can be misinterpreted, right? People are biased and receiving also not. So through Yagya Bhagwan, and we basically cleanse our own, the pressure on our own inner self, right? And then let things go with this. And the other pledge we do, the only way to heal a relationship is becoming sweeter. We always accept other person to be sweeter first. The message here is that we will become sweeter than who we are, no matter what. And that's why we offer sakha. And good also you can do, or any other sweets you can offer. Swista Kruta Homa Om Yadasya Karmano Tvariricam Yadjano Namihakaram Agni Shrata Swista Kruta Vidyat Sarvam Swistam Shuhutam Karotume Agnaye Swista Krute Shuhuta Hude Sarva Prayashtita Hutinam Kamanam Samadaitre Sarvana Kaman Samadaya Swaha Idam Agni Swista Krite Idam Namama. We'll also give 5 offerings for food. Right? This was done in a daily basis in ancient India, where the fire was lit, right, for cooking, and the first 5 rice or anything, right, that we always offer it to the fire. What does that mean? It purifies, because we are offering that to fire in the sense Agni, right? And we are purifying the nature of the food. So the first offering is for Brahmins. And Brahmins are not by birth, but Brahmins are the ones who gives the knowledge to the society itself. Then for Devatas, Devatas also use, takes less, gives more. Then also to Rishis, because they generated the knowledge for us, right, and traditions for us. Then for Narebhyo. So Narebhyo are the one who protects us, right? So for all the people who risk their lives to protect us, just take it out. Sadi, ask somebody to take it out.
Because all the banks are open.
Yeah, but just take it out. No, just put it there. The very first one, it's all with Gayatri Mantra, but in the end, we will say whom we are offering. And the last one is for Bhutepya, means all living beings.
Okay.
Bhut only doesn't mean the Bhut Pisach, but every living being, that includes them also. Right? So those who are in the physical body, those who are not in the physical body. Om Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat Swaha. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat Swaha. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat Swaha. Idam Namaribhyo Idam Namama. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat Swaha. Idam Devebhyo Idam Namama. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat Swaha. Idam Devebhyo Idam Namama. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat Swaha. Idam Devebhyo Idam Namama. Deva Dakshina Purnahuti. So this is the Purnahuti and also Deva Dakshina. So typically when a priest comes to your home, because their livelihood is survival and puja, you take care of them because they do these things unconditionally. And typically, in ancient time there was no price for a puja. Only the families, whatever they can afford, Yatha Shakti, only they would be, right? And every village used to have a Brahmin that the whole village would take care of all the. Here, we don't do, just to all the negative traditions that have entered in our society. In Gayatri Parivar, it is mandated that any of us, we do not take any money person, no matter where we go. Yeah. We do take a non-profit donation only if somebody calls us to do. But here, what is being asked is a Deva Dakshina, meaning that you are giving up one bad habit as part of the offering and you are taking one good habit as a part of this offering. And when you become better by doing that, that's where it's the Devatas like that lot more than anything else you can offer. So again, the message here is that you only give up something and we have to look within, not for somebody else, right? If there is a couple, then they always look at each other, right? That I want you to give up this. That's not the case. It's something you look within, and that is one of the toughest challenge of a human life, right? Is to change stuff, right? So that is why we only give up something. You can give up something for a week, for a month, it's okay. Some very small thing you give up, right? It doesn't have to give up for life. It's a baby step. And same thing when you take a good habit, and one of the good habits I said is daily donation can be one, daily mantra jap can be another. You decide what you want, or daily exercise, or whatever you related, or whatever from this Yagya touch you take that as a habit. So first time when I say Swaha, that's where you give up one bad habit. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnada Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate Purnam Om Purnadara Viparapata Supurna Punarapata Vaishneva Vikrina Vahai Samujagum Shatakrato Swaha. Offer and then give up one bad habit. You give the offering and then right. So close your eyes and then give up one bad habit, whatever you want to do. For a small time it's fine. Now you take ahutis in your hand, Havan Samagri in your hand again, and then Swaha second time, and that time you take a pledge to do one good habit. Om Sarvamai Purnagam Swaha. Now close your eyes and take one good habit, or take a pledge to do Sankalpa to do one good habit. पूर्णाहुति में आपने बे चीज करवानी चाहिए, दो चीज हमें करनी है पूर्णाहुति में, एक तो एक बुराई छोड़नी है, एक सद्गुण ग्रहण करना है और खुद के लिए ही डिसाइड करना है. तो अभी आप आंख बंद करके ये सिंपल ले सकते हैं. Then Vasurdhara, so whatever ghee is left, you offer that to Agni. Only one person does that. You can take the whole. So offer the whole whatever is left. Om Vaso, yeah, inside. Om Vaso Pavitramasi Satadaram Vaso Pavitramasi Sahasradhar. Inside the house. Sahasradharam Devasta Savita Punatu Vaso Pavitrena Satadarin Supva Kamaduksha Swaha. We typically do arti, but I'm going to skip that so that we can take the fire thing outside. So now we do Dhrut Avadranam. So जो प्रसाद के रूप में घी आपने पानी के अंदर डाला था, just take that on your fingers, rub it on your hand, and then you are going to absorb the energy. Om Tanupagnessi Tanvame Pahi, Om Ayurdagnessi Ayurvedehi, Om Vanchoda Agnessi Vanchomedehi, Om Agni Janve Tanva Unantam Apura, Om Medam Me Deva Savita Adadatu, Om Medam Me Devi Saraswati Adadatu, Om Medam Me Asvino Deva Vadadam Puskarastrajo. Then you rub the hands. Then take that energy inside by inhaling. And apply on the external side of the body also. Then we do Bhasma Dhara. So just take with that copper thing, take Bhasma and everybody takes it on the finger. We are not applying that anywhere. Yeah. So one thing that is known for fire, that they have only one end, that is Bhasma. we all can say the same thing for us also, right? That we are constantly burning, but we don't know where our end is. But one certainty. In fact, if you think about it, life में there is only one certainty, and that is that. Right? हमारी जो जिंदगी है उसमें एक ही certainty है. Otherwise, we cannot predict what will happen just 5 minutes from now. So how much are we prepared for it? And that is why Bhasma is a reminder that we have a limited time, whether we use it or we lose it. Right? And that's why in South India, you guys, do it on a daily basis also, right? With the Bhasma. But this is symbolism, that it's a reminder that I have a limited time. Time doesn't come back, right? You can lose health or wealth, you can regain, but time, what is gone, does not come back. And we have an ability, because we have been given free will, we have an ability to make a choice every second of our time, whether to use it wisely or to lose it. Right? And as a reminder is what we put that knowledge, may that knowledge stays in our mind. That's why we put it here first. Om Trayushamajamadagnehiti lalate. Then we put it on the throat. When we speak, that knowledge should stay when we speak. Om Kashyapasya Trayusham iti grivayam. So when we do any actions, that knowledge should stay. That's why on the right shoulder. Om Yadadeva Sutrayusham iti dakshina bahule, and then on the heart. Om Tanno Astu Trayusham iti Radaye Kshama Prarthana. So whenever we do puja, we are going to make errors. I may have made errors chanting, you guys may have made errors following. And our life is like that too. Right? Nobody can say that their life was perfect. कोई भी ऐसा नहीं बोल सकता है कि उनकी लाइफ में कभी भी उन्होंने गलतियां नहीं. कोई ऐसा भी नहीं बोल पाएगा कि हम गलती नहीं करेंगे फ्यूचर में. Nobody can claim that we will not make mistakes in the future. Then why do we have to seek क्षमा? क्षमा only means that we are taking the time out. हम एक अपने आप को रोक के पीछे की जिंदगी अवलोकन करते हैं. We are evaluating our life by doing this, and we are asking ourselves, am I becoming a repeated offender? Right? जो गलतियां हैं, if I keep on repeating, or I'm learning from it. Right? Because anytime you are exploring new phase of the life, you are gonna make mistakes. Right? That is what life is all about, exploration. But are we learning from our life or not? That is what. And for that, the first principle is that you have to surrender yourself. The day we assume that I know, we stop learning. So that's why Namaskar and everything else, Astang, Namaskar and everything else comes from that, right? That we accept divinity as the higher level than us, more knowledgeable. So we need to learn from them, and that's why we do Kshama Prarthana and then Namaskar. Kshama Prarthana. Om Avahanam Najanami Naiva Janami Pujanam Visarjanam Najanami Kshamasva Parameswara Mantrahinam Kriyahinam Bhaktihinam Sureswara Yad Pujitam Maya Deva Paripurnam Tadastu Me Yadakshara Padabrastam Matrahinam Chayad Bhavet Tat Sarvam Kshamatam Deva Prasida Parameswara Yasya smrutya chanam noktya tapo yagya kriyadishu nunyam sampurnatam yati sadyo vande tamacyatam pramada purvatam karma pratyaveta dvareshu yat smarana deva tad vishno sampurnam swaditi shrutihi sampurnam swaditi shrutihi sastanga namaskara. Om Namo Stavandaya Sahasramurtaye
Sahasraname Purushaya Sahasrakoti Yugadharine Sahasrakoti Yugadharine.
Oh, then we do Shubhkamna. So take flowers and rice again. आरती में थाली दे. ओम स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यां परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषा गौब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखमाप्नुयात् श्रद्धां मेधां यशः प्रज्ञां विद्यां पुष्टिं श्रियं बलं तेज आयुष्य आरोग्यम देहि मे अव्यवाहनम देहि मे अव्यवाहनम. Again, Pushpati Anjali, basically. So one thing I do want to explain here, when I mentioned that when we give the offerings, there were two that most of you may not have heard of, which is Sadhal Sadhal. So our Guru, and let me give you his background, was born in 1911. In 1926, his Guru from whom we call Dada Guru, who live or believed to living in Himalayas in the subtle body, 600 years old. And this is again right a concept point of view, it's a foreign concept. It's something like Mahavtari Baba or that autobiography yogi. But he manifested in front of him and asked him to do 24 Mahapurush Charana of Gayatri Mantra. So each Mahapurush Charana is 24 lakh mantra chanting or 2.4 million times chanting, around 6.5 hours daily for 1 year makes one Purush Charana. So he did 24 of those in a very strict discipline. And in addition, he participated in the freedom fight for which Gandhiji also. But after the India became independent, he decided to form Gayatri Parivar. And with the one motto, and that is what is represented here, right? That create a unity among all the like-minded, righteous souls across the world, all religions, all genders, all castes, right? Coming under and to bring Satyug ki Vapsi, right? To bring righteous era on the earth again. And according to him, it is already the sankalp of the Devatas and especially of Mahakal, and that is happening. And the time frame he has given was 100 years from 1942 to 2042. Now we are in the last 20, 30 years of that. And we are seeing a lot of changes happening very, very fast. Right. Or you can just close it. Just close it. Yeah, if the fire, if the smoke is coming out, you can just close the element. So he said the righteous era or the new era will be based on two principles: Sajal Shraddha, Prakhar Pragya. Sajal Shraddha means the faith but not blind faith, faith with compassion. And Prakhar Pragya, so intellect, but not only intellect, high intellect, but a righteous high level of intellect. Like what our rishis had, right? That whatever they thought for the whole world, whole universe, right? Currently, if you look at it, we made a lot of progress, but at what cost, right? Contaminating the earth, food, air, water, anything that we take in, right? We have contaminated it all because it was always a self-centric development. So now we do Aarti. We do very small Vedic Aarti. Om Yam Brahma Chavido Vadatti Param Pradhanam Purusham Tathāya Vishwātyanehitādhanamīśvaram Tasmai Namo Vignāsanāya. Om Yam Brahma Vattenta Rudramaruta Survanti Divyestavai Vedai Sangapadah Tamo Padidalai Gayanti Yam Samaka Jnanavastitadharmatena Manasa Pachyanti Yam Yogino Yashantam Mantu Surasurgana Tasmai Namah Devaya Tasmai Namah Karpura Gauram Karnavataram Sansara Saram Sarvamangala Mangalye Shive Sarvata Sadike Sharanye Nambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Narayani Namostute Tvameva Mata Chavita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhu Sasaka Tvameva Vidya Dharanam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. शांति। हाँ, अभी इसके ऊपर पानी का बोल करके पहले भगवान को दे दीजिए, फिर all of you. But then you take all of you take. Again, भाव ये कर रहा है कि जो divine light है, that is entering us, removing our darkness, our confusion from within. Can we do Shanti part? Om Dyoho Shanti Antariksham Shanti Prithvi Shanti Rapah Shanti Aushadaya Shanti Vanaspataya Shanti Krishna Shanti Brahma Shanti Sarvagam Shanti Shanti Deva Shanti Sama Shanti Om Shanti 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 Sarvarishta Shanti Bhavatu. आरती वहाँ पर यहाँ पे नीचे रखो
Just to be on the safe side.
on the door. Now we can do pradakshina wherever we are, right? When we go around. Om yani kani cha papani yata gyata tani sarvani nasyanti pradakshina pade pade pradakshina pade pade. Then we do visarjan. So visarjan, we are offering rice into the center of the oven. So what does visarjan mean? Visarjan is that we are saying vidai, or saying that all the deities we have invoked their presence here, we are saying that may you disperse back in the universe. So I call this as calling 911, right? When we did the puja in the beginning, we decided, the purpose for which we did the puja was to transform ourselves, become better. Changing ourselves is the highest challenge of a human life. And that's why we invoke the presence of all the divine energy from the universe here. Right? It's like calling 911, right? All of them come and whatever, Then you are in the ICU and then you're coming out and you're making pledge, right? That I'm going to put this and then you're recovering now. And we already have taken pledge and promise after promise after promise that I will redo that, right? So now we are saying that may you disperse back where the whole universe needs you, right? We are not going to hold them. And that's why we do this. Om Gacchatam Bhagavan Agne Swasthane Kundamajata Rutamādāya Devebhya Sidra Dehi Prasidame Gaccha Gaccha Sura Sreshta Swasthane Parameshwara Yantu Deva Gana Sarve Puja Madaya Mamati Ishtakama Samadhyartam Punaragamanaya Cha Prabhu Punaragamanaya Cha. So we typically do Jai Ghosh after the Yagya also. Many of you are not familiar, so I will just Gayatri Mata ki Jai, Yagya Bhagwan ki Jai, Ved Bhagwan ki Jai, Bharatiya Sanskriti ki Jai, Bharat Mata ki Jai. एक बनेंगे, हम सुधरेंगे, हम बदलेंगे, नया सवेरा नया उजाला इस धरती पर लाएंगे, नया समाज बनाएंगे, नया जमाना लाएंगे। जन्म जहाँ पर हमने पाया, अन्न जहाँ का हमने खाया, वस्त्र जहाँ के हमने पहने, ज्ञान जहाँ से हमने पाया, वह है प्यारा देश हमारा। देश की रक्षा कौन करेगा? हम करेंगे, हम करेंगे। युग निर्माण कैसे होगा? निर्माण से माँ का मस्तक ऊंचा होगा। त्याग और बलिदान से नित्य सूर्य का ध्यान करेंगे, अपनी प्रतिभा प्रखर करेंगे। मानव मात्र जाति वंश सब एक समान, नर और नारी, नारी का सम्मान जहाँ है, संस्कृति का उत्थान वहाँ है। जागेगी भाई जागेगी, नारी शक्ति जागेगी। हमारी युग निर्माण योजना सफल हो, सफल हो, सफल हो। हमारा युग निर्माण सत्संकल्प पूर्ण हो, पूर्ण हो, पूर्ण हो। 21वीं सदी उज्जवल भविष्य। वंदे वेद मातरम, वंदे देव मातरम वंदे विश्व मातरम पार्वती पते हर हर महादेव काल की जय. If anybody has any question, I'm here. Otherwise, बहुत बढ़िया. And I think food is being served also. So there are two, those are fasting also. There is a fasting also. Very nice to see. You made my day. I do all this puja for you guys. You came.